Hey, welcome to the Fisherman's Digest, everybody. We're here on beautiful Lake Cadillac in the Cadillac region of Michigan. We're going to show you two lakes today, Lake Cadillac, and then we're going to take the waterway through to Lake Mitchell. We're going to be crappie fishing. Now, it's a few days before June 1st, late May. This is awesome time for crappie, bluegill, shallow water bass, walleye, you name it. Cadillac and Mitchell are the place to be this time of the year. Stay tuned. Nice job. Oh, that's a nice one. Show that one off.
That's another good one.
Oh, that's a super good one.
You got the hook good too.
Yeah.
They don't get them in the, sometimes they get them in that soft lip and you need a net to get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's
Wow, he wasn't going anywhere.
No.
Show that one off, Chris. So is that just a normal size?
That's just a good eating size one. It's not a monster by any means, but it's a good eating one.
Perfect for what we're doing, and we're gonna give your friends a few fish, so we're gonna leave that open. Great job. Well, it looks like we found a few fish out here, and when you're on this calm water, we saw some swirls, right?
Yeah, we've seen some swirls over here.
Boom, bobber down. All right, we've also seen some humongous bass.
You monsters.
We may have to do that this. Oh, bobber down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Might have a walleye here. Nope, big crappie. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Gorgeous. Lake Cadillac crappie. You got one too, Chris?
Just the other side of the boat.
Awesome fish, awesome fish. And the key is, right now, is just getting right to the edge of this weed patch, right?
Right.
It was perfectly positioned. And what we're doing, and we'll talk about it later in the show, is we're using a stealth mode on our Motor Guide XI5, our anchor feature, and all we did was just slowly motor till we find a spot we liked, push the anchor button, boom, keeps us right here. No ropes, no nothing. Chris, we're gonna have a fun day.
I hope so.
Oh yeah. Oh, big crappie right there, Chris. You see where my bobber was?
Oh yeah.
Go get another one. Look at this. Look at this sled. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. There is nothing better in the spring to just get you going than to go out, Chris, and just catch a whole boatload of these.
Oh yeah, getting a whole bucket full of these makes for a really good day.
Awesome. Here we go. Look at this. 15 minutes into the day, we got already 3 really nice ones.
The Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Crestliner, forged with strength, defined by durability. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Motor Guide.
Those little crappies, Chris, seem to have swum just 15 or 20 feet past where we had been catching them. And that's one of the tips while Chris lands this really nice one. Now clear your rod, Chris. Is to explore cast. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah, you want to cover as much area as you can.
Wow.
That's another good one.
Oh my goodness. Talk about that concept of exploring, Chris.
Well, you just don't don't just sit in the same spot. You got to cover as much water as you can, because these crappie, they're always swimming around. They're not like bluegills that will just kind of sedate and just kind of hang out. They're always prowling for food and everything. So you got to kind of keep moving around with them, and you got to cover as much water as you can trying to find them.
Right, and we've seen that, you know, when you're sitting on those dead glass days, Chris, and you're in those weed covers, you'll see those crappies. They'll move. I mean, they're almost like northerns where they're prowling.
They are, exactly. We call them panfish, but they're predators.
They are
seeking.
looking for food. I totally agree with that. And that has been one of the things that I think people do incorrectly, is they're too patient when they're crappie fishing. You got to cast. You got to fan cast. You got to pick maybe a spot. Then there's bobber down. Oh yeah, nice fish. And this one, see how close to the boat he was, Chris?
Oh yeah.
And so, but not just reeling, but actually working. Look at this. Actually working the bobber back to the boat. Correct, Chris?
Oh, absolutely.
Look at that slug of a crappie. Just absolutely. There's nothing that gets the snide off a winter like 25 of those right there.
Oh, absolutely. And 25 of them, that's a lot of fillets.
Look at the thickness on that fish. You'll see in the live well just a tremendous, tremendous number of fish. But we've sat patient, but one of the things that's really an asset, and you'll see hanging around my neck, is this Motor Guide XI5 key fob. And what we did was we spot locked in the middle of this thing. And I just said to Chris, I'm going to move the boat 15 feet to the right to give us new water to cast. And how you do that on this key fob is you just hit the right arrow 3 times. Each time I hit it, when I'm in the locked position, when I'm in the anchor mode, it will move the bow of the boat 5 feet directly to the right. So by hitting it 3 times, I'm moving the boat 15 feet that way. So now it gives Chris and I a whole new 15 feet radius around the boat. That is such a critical thing when you're sitting in a weed patch, to be able to really cross-section that and know exactly where you're at. That puts fish in the boat. This is a crappie. This is a world-class crappie. It's a crappie. Wow.
You net that one?
Yeah.
I guess moving did the trick.
Wow. That crappie waited exactly 2 seconds to hit that. Wow. Lake Cadillac. We're on Lake Cadillac right now. We're going to move to Lake Mitchell maybe a little bit later in the day, but this is what you can get in the spring. Look at the colors on that fish. Awesome fish. Awesome. Simple live bait and bobber. Kids, families, anybody can do this. Weed clumps, right? Just find a weed clump.
Not too deep of water, 6 to 10 foot of water. Look for some good weeds. And
awesome. We're starting to build on a little fish fry for your dad, I think. So today's system fishing, brought to you by Mercury, is really all about the XI5 motor guide and our Garmin electronics. We use the mapping chip in our Garmin to find these little humps, and we were fishing little 6-foot humps that had 2-3 foot of newly emergent weed on them. Sometimes the humps were a little 7-8 footish, but they had more weed on them. We were looking for weed that topped off at about 4 feet. And the real key, as you saw today while we fished, was being able to put the bow right into the wind and put our boat directly above the structure so we could cast downwind right onto the weed beds and work our bobbers and twitch them so that the finicky specks would bite. And the cool thing is that when we ran out of an area, we would just push the jog back feature and it would just drop the boat back 15, 20 feet and it would reposition us to new water. And the whole time we fished, I didn't have to concentrate on boat control. I could concentrate on fishing. And that's really the whole point of effective technology. It's the Motor Guide XI5's anchor feature that gave us the ability to have a great day on the water without wearing ourselves out trying to control our boat.
The Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Strike King Lures, tie one on. Lose, feel the difference. And Wave Pro, best ride on the water.
Bobber down. Really nice crappie. Whoa. That's it. That makes me smile, Chris. Well, we moved again. We switched lakes. That's one of the beautiful things here about the Cadillac Metro region. We'd worked a few spots there in Cadillac, and we had, we'd run out of some fish, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And we came to this point right here. Very first spot we stopped. Same result, different lake. Beautiful. Yeah, that looks like a wakeboard. Oh yeah. Good job, Chris.
Oh. You took it all the way down there.
It's all right. We will take that. Got bored of crappie fishing. So I threw my favorite zero. I'm sorry. Strike King makes this thing called a zero. If you put it on a number 1 worm hook and you just throw it out there because you're bored, this is what'll happen. I didn't even do anything. I just chucked it toward shore and caught myself a very respectable largemouth. Yep, just that simple. Strike King zero. It's the cure for boredom. Oh. I'm just drifting along the shoreline, minding my own business. I have no idea what we have here, but it is big. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. It's just another insanely nice bass. I got my bobber down. I'll worry about that later. Chris, grab that rod and catch that crappie while I catch this really nice largemouth. And this, Chris, is what makes these lakes amazing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's just everything.
There's everything in this.
Huge sunfish, huge nice crappies. Just way too many quality bass. All right, sportsmen, here we go with the tackle box section of our show. Really simple today. We used just a live bait on a number 6 true turn. About 8-9 inches to its split shot, another foot or so to our bobber. Of course, we use a thill. It's about, maybe 18 to 22 inches. We're fishing it halfway up. Now, the weed tops came in at about 4 feet. So Chris had us fishing about 2 feet in between the top and the top of the weed tops, which is perfect. The crappies will sit right in the very tops of the weed tops, and when that little minnow is struggling above them, they just come out and they grab it. And then, of course, they go back down to the safety of the weeds. That's what takes the bobbers down. If you fish too tight to the weeds, sometimes they'll eat it. You won't even see your bobber move, and you end up, getting it deep in their throat. So you can't play the catch and release game. Now on our rods, I just was using my walleye special. It's a really good rod for just all-around use. I have it spooled up with just some 8-pound test fluorocarbon and 6-pound test fluorocarbon leader. So I just went a little bit lighter for crappie fishing. Now on our zero rod, again, I just used my walleye stick, my custom speed stick by Luz. It's a walleye special. Really good action for this worming. And what we used today, of course, was the zero, which is a Strike King soft plastic, which works really good in the spring of the year. Actually, zeros for me work good all the time because I'm always having them in the water. Now today we just used it on a weightless #1 Gamakatsu. You could run this like on an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce or a 1/16 ounce depending on the depth of the water later in the year outside the first weed breaks. Today we were fishing them in about 4 to 6 foot of water, so just a slow soak. We casted them up, we let them sink down. Sometimes we didn't even move them for a minute. We'd go to reel down, boom, the fish would already be there. So this is a super effective way to fish for early season bass. So those are the two primary ways that we fish today, and you saw the results. We had great success with awesome crappie and really nice bass. See that? See that fish? Think that fish doesn't like that? Them fish will not let it go. They just don't let it go. Did you see that? I tried to pull it away from him, and he would not give it up. Picked it up off the bottom, moved it an inch. Boom. I can't even lift this one. Right there. Right in the corner of the lip. These fish will not spit this up. Awesome.
The Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, leaders in trolling technology. Trax Tech, the ultimate fishing system. And Garmin.
You know, the Cadillac area is an absolutely prolific area for sportsmen in general. I'm a fisherman, and I mean, I've been coming here for 30 years. Cadillac, Mitchell, Missaukee, the Manistee River system, you name it, Cadillac has got it. It's a spring, summer, fall, winter fishing opportunity. Now today we did the crappies and mixed in some bass because the bass fishing here is just so awesome. But you can come here in the summer and in the fall, and you can target walleye and bass. And later in the fall, the crappie and the bluegill will become really, really abundant again, coming towards the shorelines. So this is just an amazing opportunity for fishermen. Beautiful, Chris. Nice, show that off. You know, if you're coming here to target crappie, there's two huge seasons to come. It's the spring, typically halfway through May, all the way through halfway through June. That's the 1 month peak period of time. It's always based on weather a little bit, but we're here on June 23 and it was a cold spring and the crappie is just getting going. Now, if you're an ice fishing enthusiast, ice fishing is really where it's at here in the Cadillac Mitchell area because the ice fishing season usually starts right around Christmas and it runs all the way through the end of March, and crappie is one of the featured fish that people come and target here on Mitchell and Cadillac. Oh yeah, it's a big one. Wow. We stopped our bass fishing. We came back to our crappie spot hoping that the evening bite would be a little better. I lost a truck. I didn't lose this one. Awesome. Cadillac and Mitchell, Central Michigan. Unbelievable. This is the type of fish you can catch here. Crappie, bass, tons of walleye, right, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Walleye is actually what people typically come here for. Oh yeah. Big one.
That's a good one.
Here you go, Chris. Look at the fish in the light. You want to talk about beautiful crappie? There's a beautiful crappie. That's my hand. He's all the way up my forearm. Awesome fish. Chris, this is a crazy good fishery. I mean,
Yeah,
we've been coming
we got
here
really
for
good crappie up here for sure.
30 years, and that's a great crappie no matter where you go. Oh yeah. Oh, net. Net. Yeah, we will. Look at that in the light. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Chris, awesome fish. Chris, thanks for taking us to Lake Cadillac
No
and
problem.
Mitchell
It was a
today.
pleasure.
We had a great time. Chris and his dad Steve run the Pilgrims Village right here in downtown Cadillac. Well, not downtown Cadillac. We're in old Cadillac,
Yep,
aren't
Cadillac
we?
West.
Cadillac West, right there by the boat launches of both Cadillac and Mitchell. If you want great crappie fishing year-round, you want awesome bass fishing, great walleye fishing, Cadillac, Mitchell, and the Cadillac region are the place to come. Thanks again, Chris.
No problem.
Closed captioning brought to you by Wave Pro. Best ride on the water, online at waveproshock.com.